I'm Donna Bell. Welcome to this extended edition of Time Travel Plus. This is an exclusive production of WJHG News Channel 7 in Panama City, Florida, where we step back in time and take a look at stories that made headlines in years gone by. In this episode, we're taking a look at the year 1982, when Philip Griffiths was elected mayor of Panama City Beach. The propeller from a sunken ship was relocated to a local restaurant, when astronaut John Glenn visited Panama City, and F-15s took flight at Tyndall Air Force Base. So sit back, relax, and enjoy our trip back in time as we explore the year 1982.
The District Board of Trustees of Gulf Coast Community College has previously taken a hands-off attitude on the proposed switch of the Panama City State University System Center from the University of West Florida to Florida State University. The issue first surfaced last summer, and Gulf Coast had stayed out of the fight at least until this morning. Board Chairman George Tapper said the proposed merger of Pensacola Junior College and the University of West Florida might leave Panama City on the short end of the stick.
If this takes place, then whatever funds are coming out of the legislature, University of West Florida is going to need to implement putting these two institutions together, are going to need more funds than they're going to have. So I don't know whether we would be on the tail end of it or not, whether we would receive the same consideration we've been getting today with their interest in having a four-year college at Pensacola.
Tapper proposed studying the issue, and the Board of Trustees could vote at its next meeting on March the 2nd. But board member Charles Whitehead said he was ready to vote today.
And I'm prepared. If you don't want a motion, I certainly won't make it.
No, I'm not some little old winemaker somewhere in California. I'm here in Freeport, of all places, right here in Walton County, at a winery. Welcome to the Alachua Wineries. Foster and Rebecca Burgess started to grow grapes on their 9.5 acres of farmland in 1977. They are finally at the stage to start selling wine commercially. This summer, the couple, along with about 4 friends, picked about 5 tons of grapes, which they expect to produce between 5,800 to 6,800 gallons of wine. Wine authorities in such places as Pensacola, Tallahassee, and even some in Europe have expressed interest in purchasing one of Florida's new agricultural products, wine. Foster uses all the latest and most effective ways to manufacture commercial wine. For instance, after the grapes are squeezed, the juice is fermented, filtered twice, and placed in a cold storage area where the temperature dips to 20 degrees. The couple cannot help but being optimistic.
We're bottling about 5,800 gallons, and we expect essentially all of it to be sold here at the winery. And we don't expect it to last until next year's harvest is ready either.
So in other words, you're not going to actually sell it too much to, say, like a Northwest Florida restaurant. Pretty much people will come here to the winery and buy it.
We plan this year to sell it all at the winery. Hopefully by next year we'll have enough to start selling it through restaurants.
Rebecca, in 1977, you and Foster started growing grapes. Has it been a long and arduous process to get to where you are right now?
Yes, it has. It's been a lot of hard work. There's a lot involved, running a vineyard, keeping it mowed, doing the pruning, tearing off the tendrils, but it's worth it.
The Burgesses are producing white, red, and rosé. It will hold a grand opening on Saturday, February 27th, between the hours of 10 in the morning to 6 at night. The Alaqua Winery is located about 10 miles west of Freeport, right on Highway 20. From Freeport, Mike Erspan, TV7 News. The silence of a hot spring morning at Tyndall was interrupted with near ear-shattering sounds from each of the three F-15's two powerful jet engines. Before landing at one of the runway strips, the planes circled and displayed their sharp maneuverability. What the news media was witnessing this morning was the most sophisticated fighter aircraft that the U.S. Air Force, or any Air Force in the world, has in its arsenals. Its speed and accurate radar enables the planes to detect, acquire, track enemy aircraft while operating in friendly or enemy-controlled airspace. These three planes are from Langley Air Force Base in Virginia and are part of a project of an overall upgrading of the nation's alert system. Tyndall is part of an alert system which will have planes go out to actually identify an unknown aircraft. According to Tyndall NORAD Control Center Commander, Colonel Brooks Bays, he expects his alert crew to be in the air within 5 minutes if an alert is sounded. Captain Sam Batiste of Langley was one of the three pilots who commandeered an ultra-advanced F-15 aircraft at Tyndall. He's been in the Air Force for 11 years and has flown an array of fighter aircraft. But in his words, this is by far the superior.
The difference is a giant leap forward in the avionics tied to the superior weapons and the flight controls, which enable us to outmaneuver just about anything in the air right now.
So you would say it's the maneuverability and the speed that really places this aircraft years ahead of the other ones?
The maneuverability and the outstanding avionics, we're talking about the radar system now as far as detection and tracking of targets.
Beginning Monday morning at 9 o'clock, the alert commitment will officially be handed over to Tyndall. For the last 3 months, the responsibility has lied with the 33rd Tactical Fighter Wing at Eglin. Mike Erspan, TV7 News.
This past Friday night, a twin-engine private plane loaded with 1,000 pounds of marijuana was seized at the Tri-County Airport north of Bonifay. One person was arrested, the pilot, Chester McGraw of Dothan, who was ordered held in the Holmes County Jail on $1.5 million bond. The plane has now disappeared. Holmes County Sheriff Drew Galloway says he and a law enforcement pilot were en route to the airport just north of Bonifay Sunday morning when they saw the plane take off and head in a southerly direction. There was some speculation that the plane was stolen by some other persons who may have been connected with the ill-fated smuggling operation. Agents from several departments spent the weekend examining all of the marijuana and labeling it for future court trials. They said they expected additional arrests, and now the investigation has been compounded by the disappearance of the twin-engine smuggling plane that apparently was stolen back by the smugglers after it had been processed by lawmen. Tom Hips, TV7 News.
Holmes County native Joel Mayo, who was killed in the U.S. military attempt to rescue the Iranian hostages 2 years ago, was honored in his home area today with a plaque unveiled in a ceremony at the courthouse in Bonifay. Robert Hall, mayor of Bonifay, described Mayo as a true American hero who made the ultimate sacrifice for the good of his country. Official presentation of the plaque was made by Martin C. Jones, commander of the VFW post at Rockledge on Florida's East Coast, who told how the project was started.
Ron Miller, who started the project and is an ex-serviceman himself, was very interested in this because nobody else started anything like this. And his wife, Vicki, and also Mr. Bill Roth, who finally gave us all the money when we thought we was going to go under.
Right. How many of these plaques are being given? Is this the only one, or are they being done at all the other places?
There will be one given out in each town that every man gave his life, and also a plaque to each man that was injured. So total, I think it's 15.
The monument to Mayo was received by Holmes County Commissioner Donnie Morrison, who said Holmes County, Florida, and the nation is proud of the dedication shown by Mayo and the other 8 Americans who died in the futile rescue effort. Dave Eberly, TV 7 News, Bonifay.
Beach Motel owner Philip Griffiths is new mayor of Panama City Beach. Griffiths easily defeated incumbent Mayor Aaron Besant in yesterday's runoff balloting. The absentees were counted this morning, and the final vote totals gave Griffiths 658 with 41 absentees and Besant 412 with 25 of the absentees. Griffiths says that he plans to live up to his campaign promise of bringing harmony and unity to City Hall.
Joe, I think really it's just that the people we had in our organization, they were dedicated, they had faith in me, and they put forth 110% effort, and we went to the people and gave them our stands, our platforms, and our pledges, and I think that's what they wanted to hear, and they got behind us 100%.
What's going to be your #1 priority when you take office in a few days?
We're going to look at all of the issues, of course. We're going to look at the things that need to be done inside the city, but while we're doing this and accompanying all of this, we're going to look at the bad, not the bad points. We're just going to get some harmony in City Hall, and then once we get that, we feel like we can work with everyone for the good of all of Panama City Beach and for everyone on the beach and give them something they can be proud of.
Incumbent Aaron Besant was obviously disappointed, but said that's it for politics. He said his 2-year stint as mayor was enough. Do you plan to remain active in politics?
Oh, I doubt it very seriously. I'm not a politician by any means, and I've been trying to serve the town for the last 2 years, and I was willing to serve for another 2, but obviously the people didn't care for that, so I can accept that and go on with my life very easily. Probably have a lot better harmony at home and what have you than I have in the past 2 years. I do want to thank the people that did have confidence in me and the things that I did, and I'm not ashamed of my last 2 years at all, and it'll be a great memory for me.
And stopped off here to visit with his longtime friend, State Democratic Party Chairman Charles Whitehead. Glenn was the 3rd U.S. astronaut and the first ever to orbit the Earth. As a U.S. Senator, and one that is becoming increasingly more visible, there are rumors circulating that he might seek the Democratic presidential nomination in 1984. What are your thoughts about the $187 billion that have been allocated for defense spending? Are you in favor of that kind of money being spent?
Well, I am, because I think we have waited too long in building up some of our military posture vis-a-vis the Soviets that we have let go for too long. Unfortunately, we do have to make some of these expenditures because the Soviets have outspent us by some 30 to 50% a year for almost 15 years now. I would say, too, that we were in session passing that defense authorization bill. I walked down the Capitol steps this morning about 5:20 this morning, just before I went over to catch an airplane to come south. And so we were working on that all night last night and finally passed that defense bill early this morning. So it was a big effort, and there were many amendments. I had some myself. But I don't have any doubt that that is about the level the defense expenditures are going to have to be.
Also, nuclear reduction. There are so many people in this country now who are so afraid of nuclear warfare. What are your feelings about that?
Well, I think most of the freeze proposals have called for a glorious end of, we don't want to see nuclear war, and I certainly agree we don't want to see nuclear war, but they have not gone the next step and said how we get to that good end.
Of course, no interview with the famous former astronaut would be complete without getting his thoughts about the space agency and its future.
Well, I think it's been cut back too far. I'm not one that gives a complete blank check to the space program, but, you know, we spent a lot of money and a lot of effort, a lot of time building up this ability to do research in space. And now we're not maximizing that enough. We could do a lot more in that particular area. I would say this fits in the pattern, too, of an area that I am very critical of the administration on, and is their cutting back of research in so many areas, things that private business and industry are not doing. And to me, that's a role of government, is to do do that far out, the basic research. A good example is what we've done in agriculture. Throughout all of our years, we've put more money into research in soil analysis and fertilizer analysis, hybrid seed development, things that have made our farmers far more productive than any nation on earth. Now, that's the kind of research that's being cut back. And the same thing goes into business and industry. We are just now beginning to see other nations like Germany and Japan outcompete us in some of these new high technology areas. We don't need to see anybody outcompete us. We can out-invent, out-innovate, outproduce any nation on earth. But we're going to have to do that research in order to do that, and the basic research can be done by government. I don't like to see that cut back.
Glenn had no formal engagements while in Panama City. He spent the time relaxing with Democratic leader and Panama City businessman Charles Whitehead. Susan McHugh, TV7 Weekend News.
During the past year, there was a lot of controversy over a small part of history, about 18.5 feet in diameter and some 14 tons of solid bronze history. The wheel of the Empire Micah, a tanker sunk by a German torpedo boat off Port St. Joe in 1942, finally has a new resting place at the entrance to Captain Anderson's restaurant on Panama City Beach. And one of its new owners, Johnny Petronas, told us a little bit about how they came to have possession of it.
There was a Captain Lanny Reinhardt and a Mr. Ponders from Alabama that had the salvage rights on the boat, and they had worked on it since July of last year. They had located the propeller, had bought the salvage rights from England, and they were en route to Tampa to get a barge and crane when some local boat captain and some associates went out and took the prop and brought it in to a local marina. And then from there came a Supreme Court hearing, and Mr. Captain Reinhardt did get the propeller back, and we in turn bought it from Captain Reinhardt.
The local divers who took the propeller after Reinhardt found it said that all the blasting it took to free it from the shaft did irreparable damage to the natural fish reef, and that they were trying to stop it before it was completely destroyed. Reinhardt said that it was the high point of his diving career, and they stole it from him. The high courts ruled in favor of him anyway, and the 19 months and some $20,000 he had spent on the project of salvage had paid off. It is one of the biggest catches ever to come from the Gulf of Mexico.
We paid him about $20,000 for the propeller, and I think that's just a down payment for getting it installed.
And it's a little bit low how much it weighs, right?
It's 18.5 feet in diameter and weighs 28,000 pounds.
Jim Dooley, TV7 News.
Panama City Beach police officers have all weekend been warning beachgoers to stay out of the Gulf. Riptides moving as fast as 40 or 50 miles per hour have been pulling swimmers out into the Gulf. The current is so swift that it's giving swimmers trouble in waist-deep waters. Beach police lifesavers pulled 16 persons from the Gulf on Saturday when rough weather first moved into the area. On Sunday, they rescued 33 people, and at least 31 were pulled out today. The Gulf waters were so treacherous today that Beach Police Chief Lee Sullivan instructed his rescuers to take extreme caution to protect their own lives.
Lieutenant, you take a board. You take a board and put it in the back of your Jeep, and take Mike and Roddy with you. Okay? Me and Don are covered the road, and that leaves 11 and 19 for each end. All right? Yeah. I don't want nobody going in the water by themselves. For nobody, for no reason, for nothing. Okay?
That's it.
Right? Now we're gonna mess around. Okay, we ain't gonna be able to save these people from themselves. But I ain't getting none of y'all. All right? Okay? And we'll split like that and leave this Cadillac here.
Now beach 4 and 25.
Let's do it.
At least 4 people were taken to area hospitals today after they were pulled from the Gulf waters. 61-year-old Alex Jarrett of Columbus, Georgia, suffered the most serious injury. He was listed in stable condition this afternoon in the intensive care unit at Bay Medical Center. The red flags have been flying all weekend, warning of bad swimming conditions. Late this afternoon, Chief Sullivan said it seemed that more people were taking heed of the warnings. Rick Hurst, TV 7 News. William Tell 82, in addition to being an intra-Air Force competition, is also a training exercise in air-to-air combat. While the fighter interceptor pilots are trying their tactics, all their moves are monitored and recorded by a device known as ACMI, or Air Combat Maneuvering and Instrumentation. In air-to-air training missions, pods are attached to the fighter aircraft wings. These pods are jam-packed with electronic sensing devices. The pods transmit data to remote pickup sites, which in turn pass on aircraft flight position information to computers. The computers process the messages and compose the data on a screen in 3-dimensional dynamic displays of each air-to-air combat engagement. The displays much resemble the popular video games. The displays are taped so that when each mission is over, the flight crews can sit down, look at the tactics they have used, and analyze what went right, what went wrong, and why. Air Force officials say the ACMI provides its pilots with lessons they could only otherwise learn in combat. The Air Force says that the training air crews get on the ACMI should do much to save lives and increase combat capabilities in future conflicts, which they say gives American fighter pilots an advantage over their Soviet counterparts. Rick Hurst, TV 7 News. The new Bay County School Board is the same as the old school board, and as today's first order of business, County Judge William Cooper swore in re-elected board members Tommy Smith, Ken Brock, and Dr. Bob Young. Then came the appointment of a new chairman for the board. Tommy Smith and Dean Bozeman were nominated. Bozeman voted for herself and got 1 vote from Linda Grantham. The 3 male board members voted for Tommy Smith, and Smith became board chairman for this year, which brought these remarks from Dean Bozeman.
I've been on this board for 14 years, and it's been a customary practice that the chairmanship of this board is rotated by districts, and it's a pretty well an accepted thing who is going to be chairman. Now, it's immaterial to me who is the chairman, but I want to make it very clear that since I was the vice chairman, and that it is my turn to be the chairman, and I feel that it's not being done fair and properly unless a policy has been established on changing.
Superintendent Pete Holman then gave the board a financial report. Holman says that because of shortfalls in expected sales tax revenues, the state is cutting funding to local school boards by 4.5%. Holman says that figure is down from a previously expected cut of 7.5%, but he says the Bay County School Board will still be forced to tighten its belt. Holman has put a freeze on hiring of new employees and on purchasing of new equipment, but that's not all. Holman says the state may cut back education funding even further after the first of the year.
And we hope that we do not have to lay off people, but if it comes back in February, and they indicated there may be another cut in February, if they do cut further, we have no choice except hit personnel, but certainly we don't want this. And I'm sure you don't.
Holman says school boards and school superintendents across Florida are appealing to state legislators to give school boards more local control over how they spend state funds. He says strict state spending guidelines create big problems, namely too much money for one program and not enough for another. Holman says local school boards could spend state funds much more wisely if they had more flexibility. Rick Hurst, TV 7 News.
TV7 at first was known as WJDM. Several years after it began operations, the station was purchased by its present owner, Gray Communications Incorporated, and the call letters were changed to WJHG. That stands for James H. Gray, the president and chairman of the board of our parent company. On our 29th anniversary, TV7's Pamela Golden asked some area residents what they remember about Channel 7's first days of telecasting.
WJHG in the early days stood for We Just Have Goofed. But since those days, it's certainly improved a lot. It seems like only yesterday that we were watching Burn 'em Up Barnes and American Legion Wrestling, and even the test pattern. The test pattern on old WJDM looked good because when it was there, it made us know that a miracle was happening. WJDM was on the air.
It was all we had to watch here. We couldn't get anything else, and we didn't know of anything any better either. And so it was our own. It was Panama City's own, and we're very proud of them, as we are today. We're still proud of them. They've come a long ways, and we're proud that they have come and kept up with the times like they have.
What kind of shows did y'all watch back then when it first went on the air?
Well, mainly the ones that were attracted to the children because of that young son we had and his friends would gather in, and so whatever was on and what time it was on that was attractive to children was the shows that we learned, his mother and I learned to enjoy too.
You know what WJDM stood for, don't you?
What's that?
Wait just a damn minute. And that's what we had to do a long time. I remember the first time we got some new cameras in down there. They were the one that Mr. Gray sent in from up in Albany, Georgia, and they really thought we had some real cameras. And in fact, they got two. There was just one camera there for a long time, but there was a lot of good old days there then and now, and has come a long ways in 29 years.
I believe about the first person that I can remember actively involved with the television station that when it came here was Donnell Brookins. And old Ray Holloway has been involved for numbers of years. And I can remember back in all the days, and I do want to express the fact that the WJHG has cooperated with the Bay County Fair and the American Legion in bringing our program before the public.
We just look forward every other year to working with Channel 7 on that telethon, which over the past several years now has produced about $500,000 in revenue for our March of Dimes. And I want to point out quickly here that Channel 7 does not charge us a penny for that time, for 23 hours of TV time. And that's just, I think, probably unheard of anywhere in the world except Panama City. And it's just such a great service, not just to March of Dimes, but to all those people, especially those kids that benefit from it. And I don't think that Channel 7 can be thanked enough or ever rewarded enough for that contribution. And they haven't just started doing that. They've been doing it. We're proud of them.
As we celebrate our 29th year of telecasting, TV7 is installing a new $250,000 transmitter at our transmitting facility at Green Hills Junction in North Bay County, and major additions to our equipment at our studio facilities at Panama City Beach, all designed to provide the best television service to our viewers in Northwest Florida, Southeast Alabama, and Southwest Georgia.
We hope you enjoyed this trip back in time. Join us every Tuesday for this time travel exclusive only on News Channel 7 Plus.